Hi! So today I thought the best thing that I could probably do is explain what I do pretty much every time I go out on set. It's one of my favorite things to do. It is making sure that everybody on set is safe. And that is the job of the key grip. Now, you might not think that that's the number one thing that they do, but really it's the most important thing that they do. But the other things that they do is set up all the stands that support every single other light, and basically anything on a stand or anything that's being supported is the grip's job. But my favorite part about it is making sure that everybody on set stays safe. There's something sort of militant about that part of the job, and I really like that a lot. I kind of teed that up wrong, but instead of telling you about what it is that I do, because I kind of just did that a little bit, I'm going to show you what I use for doing all that stuff. This is my grip belt. This is what I bring with me. It's pretty loaded up right now. I don't always bring this, but in Chicago, where I'm living right now, you're not generally a grip or a key grip. You're generally a swing, which is you're the grip. You're also the gaffer, and the gaffer kind of is the grip too. But one of the best things you can do when you get on set, when that's the case, is to talk to the gaffer, or if there's another electric, or if there's another grip there, and kind of establish, okay, look, they said this in the call sheet, that's great and everything, but just to go over this again to make sure you don't feel like I'm stepping on your toes, you're not stepping on mine. This is how it is, right? I mean, we're gonna be overlapping, we're gonna be touching on each other's gear and stuff like that. So just wanna throw that out there. I might just make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page. So first thing we have is the gloves. Set, wear gloves. They're expensive, they're like $40, but they're worth it because they really, really hold up. They're great for touching hot lights and stuff like that. They're the most common gloves you see on set. The first thing on the left of my belt is my Leatherman. Now this one is OHT, I guess it is. I really like it because you can do everything with one hand. So for the pliers, squeeze in on the side, and then you can do that with the pliers, and then you can load them back up. Everything, if I need to use a can opener and I'm on a light, which has never happened, but you get what I'm saying, everything you can just rotate out. This cloth sheath thing sucks because the needle nose of the pliers always goes down to the bottom, and as it hits again and again and again as you're walking, it just puts a little hole down there. So if you ever use this or get this, just make sure that the needle noses are pointing up. Next, I don't have in my bag generally with me a tape measure, but I do have a laser measure. I love this one because I can go up to, I think it's 128 feet, and I think it was $38 on Amazon. And then I can read everything right here on the screen clearly. Error, interesting. It sits right on my pack and it's good to go. It's really good when I'm working as an AC as well. And then I can, okay, and you're two, all right, great. I can mark my focus wheel accordingly, and I'm ready to bring in actors. Next, we come to this big pack here. This is the biggest one. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait on this one here. I'm gonna go to this smaller one here first. All right, this smaller one that sits on my right side for a reason. I've got some writing tools and stuff in here, so Velcro, rip it open. That's the one thing that sucks about this. I wish they had magnets in here instead of Velcro, because if they had magnets instead of Velcro, then it wouldn't sound like shit every time that you go ahead and open it up. Maybe action hasn't been called, because I stand there and don't move usually for the most part. Even if it hasn't, there's times where you don't want to be super loud on set, and just the sound of Velcro ripping just sucks. Okay, so first thing I have in here is my line sniffer. And this here will tell me if there is power running through a cable or not. All right, so if I'm looking at a mess of cables and I'm trying to figure out, oh shit, which one is the one that I started to run, then I had to double back, and I know I didn't plug it in yet, I can just feel really quick, and then I'll know which one has actually been run, which one hasn't. There's 100 good uses for that, but it's always for figuring out if there's power running through a line. Circuit tester. It's hugely important just for figuring out if a circuit's good to go. And if you get a doghouse and somebody says they plugged it in, you can pop it in really quick and make sure it's all good. And if it doesn't light up the way it's supposed to, you can know that, oh, this isn't grounded and I'm about to run an 1800 watt light off of this. Right now I only have one, which is kind of a sin for me, but there's one Sharpie in here. I usually always have more than that. One black pen, and one Expo marker. All of these, at some point or another, end up getting used during the day for me, generally. On set, oh, go get them. No. That's what usually sits in here. Sometimes I'll also have a little notebook in here, but I've been using that less and less. I was carrying that on me a lot because it looked and felt incredibly unprofessional to take out my phone and be taking notes on it while someone was talking, because it just felt like, by the way, I'm just taking notes. I just had to tell them that every time. It just felt stupid to do that. I just took notes really quick. I could refer to them that way and everything. But now, for the most part, everybody's using their phone on set, and if I'm still looking up at somebody engaging and nodding and writing down, then they'll know that, you know, oh, this person's actually listening to me. They're not actually just on their phone, and it doesn't take somebody long to know me to know that if somebody's talking to me, I wouldn't be on my phone or doing anything else other than just engaging with you in most circumstances. Now to the big one. Big pocket. We have our clip here for our gloves and everything. Immediately on the side, I have my level. I love this thing. Magnet in the side. It's a bullet level. I don't know. It's a level. It's used all the time for me anyway. And then I also, oh look, another Sharpie is hanging out in here. You don't belong there. You belong over here. And then on my other side over here, I have my crescent wrench. My crescent wrench always stays on this side as well. And by doing this, I know that the tools that I use the absolute most are always there, always ready to go. I used to have a problem with my crescent wrench popping out all the time. Then I tried to figure out how to be able to make sure that that didn't happen. And I asked the DP, I was like, hey man, I know you worked as a grip for a really long time. I mean, I know this sounds stupid, but is there a better way I should organize my tools so they're not falling out of my pouch? He's like, dude, you're moving so fast. You're moving so fast. Slow down a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, all right. You really? He's like, yeah, you're moving to different angles. Don't twist and throw your back out and everything and do this other stuff that is making your body feel super uncomfortable because the tools will always stay in the pouch if gravity's assisting them. If not, then they're gonna, right? So just take it easy and just, you know, practice what you preach. Be safe and do what you have to do on set without twisting yourself all over the place and hanging upside down and your tools falling out of your pouch. Might seem like a really simple, stupid thing, but that was taught to me years and years ago, and it's always stuck with me now, so now I got it. I don't have to rip this top part open, but so I won't. There's a Phillips head immediately right here, and yes, my Leatherman has a Phillips head on it as well, but that's not what I use for when I'm using a Phillips head, right? Freaking Velcro. So we're gonna dive in here. The first thing we're gonna reach into is this big front pocket. And what we're gonna pull out is not one, is not two, 3 cube taps. I keep 3 cube taps in here because I use them all the time. And then I mark them down as my own and I put them out if I'm using them on set, and I try to always get them back, and most of the times I do. If you don't have your own cube taps on set, at some point you'll probably wish, I just wish that I had my own cube taps so that I didn't have to deal with not having one from production right now. You can say like, oh no, you know what, dude? If they're not providing them, then I don't know what to tell you. But at the same time, it's like, dude, let's just get the job done. So having my own cube taps out on set, I have no problem with that. I also have a converter here too, because a lot of times you'll run into an Edison plug that doesn't want to be able to give you the ground. So this is great for that, so that you can plug your ground into here, and then your ground actually grounds inside the unit. And that's where these go. So then these sit in my front pocket because, like I said, while I grip, I also electric and swing all the time. So while I'm doing swing, I'll always be messing around with electric from time to time. Always from time to time. That's an interesting combination, Matt. Next thing we have over here, I have a small pair of pliers. All right, It's simple, but sometimes you need them. In addition to your Leatherman's not really the go-to tool on set. This, however, is my go-to Phillips head on set because it's nice, small. It's larger than my smaller, longer one, but sometimes you need that longer one to get into different lights or get into different spaces. One of my favorite tools, and I don't know where my metric one's at right now, but this is my US version Allen key kit. And this one's okay, but I'm actually going to be, I'm going to do that after I do this video. I'm actually going to be picking up one, it's called the Gorilla Grip Allen key, and it's much bigger, it's much stronger, and this one, there'll be times where I'm using it and I just feel like when I'm really cranking down on it on a C-stand or something like that, that it's gonna fall apart on me, and I've been meaning to do that for a while, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that after this video. And then, finally, we have a skate tool. Now, a skate tool can be used on a dolly, or it can be used on a skateboard when somebody brings a skateboard onto set. But this is used for skateboard wheels on a dolly track when somebody brings a dolly out onto set and an AC doesn't have it, or it's just, I always find this is like a very common tool that rental houses forget to pack in with a dolly kit. And so it's always nice when somebody's like, oh shit, and I'm like, what? I like to say what when somebody says, oh shit, especially if it's about gear or it sounds like they're lost something or they don't have something, because I try to have a little bit extra of a lot of stuff. Aside from that, I mean, I have a couple zip ties in here. I think you've seen those before. And then a bunch of C47s, but really that's it, except for putting everything back where it belongs. My pouch on the outside here. My pouch on the outside here, I struggled for the longest time to figure out what do I want to put out here, because I'm not using a tape measure really to live here. But I ended up finding the perfect thing, which is my trusty little headlight. Okay, this thing is great. It's just an Amazon purchase. All right, it's a headlamp. Just pick one up. You're gonna want one at some point or another when you're crawling around a dark set and you're trying to figure out where whatever is. So these are all the tools that I use every day when I go out and I'm gripping it or I'm gaffing. It's a little bit overkill, but you know what? I got enough space for all my stuff, and I have a little bit of center room space left open to go to Crafty and pick up a couple of snacks, because no grip belt is ever completed without a whole bunch of snacks. Okay, that pretty much does it for what goes in my grip belt. Questions, comments, you know where to put them. Peace.